lighter in my Versace vision. I don't have no Gucci suit. This a wild ride. I've been trapping so long, I live outside.
Yo, what's up? This is On the Scene with Carissa Des.
I'm pretty fucking Leon.
And we're here with a very special guest.
I'm I Love Makonnen.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
We're live at the Thesis at Lollipop Shop right now.
Portland, Oregon.
Guest on the bill. You know, we're down in the basement, the fucking dungeon, just doing what we do, just talking our shit. So, Makonnen, is this your first Thesis that you're going to be performing on?
Yeah, it's my first one I'm performing on.
Word.
It's probably my third one I've been to.
Third one you've been to. Word. And you've been in the city for a while now. Is this, have you had like, you know, your eye on the Thesis? Has this been something that you've just acknowledged as like an important creative space for artists and stuff to kind of mingle and stuff?
Yeah, for sure.
You do a lot of different things in the community and stuff.
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, it's definitely anytime you give the artist a chance to showcase their music and people to come out and have a good time, that's always, you know, I love that.
So can you tell us like about, you know, not everybody knows, you know, like Martha's World, your vision, you know, what your kind of creative vision is for Portland, Oregon, like what you know, came out here kind of to do and like what you want to see, you know, because you're still here. And a lot of people get here and they leave. Like I know a lot of people get here and they leave. And, you know, so what is your hopes? Like, what do you want to see before you leave or you stay?
Don't try to get him to leave.
No, leave. No.
No, I don't plan on leaving. I plan on running for governor of Oregon. So.
I would
have to see your platform first.
That'd be the flyest fucking campaign trail. Like, oh man, the t-shirts, the fucking merch. Yeah. That'd be fly.
Yeah. I don't know. My vision for Portland is just, you know, making Portland a staple like it is. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it is. I just feel like it just doesn't have a whole bunch of notoriety and hype, but I feel like that's a part of it. You know what I mean? Because when I came here, I left kind of like all the bigger cities and like I just kind of wanted somewhere to chill and live and just, you know, create. I wasn't even really looking for, you know, like the nightlife and all that stuff. But as I've lived here and been around long enough to see so many artists, I see that the artists here are missing platforms.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Truly. Yeah.
And so the platforms is definitely important for the artists. And as so many artists here, I just see like, you know, we just got to keep supporting the platforms to usher the artists to, and, you know, just keep building on that.
Build the space. Yeah.
There's a lot of very talented artists here, but nobody's really seeing it outside of the city. So
I feel like we don't have a I don't know if you guys watch Bridgerton, but
I
like
watch Bridgerton really. No,
or like Gossip Girl.
I watched Gossip Girl.
Okay, so like I feel like we don't have like a I don't know what it is, like a column or something that keeps up on the scene and kind of always puts out.
That's what we're planning on doing.
I think we got it.
There's an opening for that. So big time.
That's what my homie Danielle was talking about. Like he was saying, like focus on this. You know, my homies in the industry, like also were like, do this, do what you're doing right now. Not stop producing, but stop doing this. You know, your little bits and pieces of music and stuff. Work on like being the voice of the scene and talking about what's going on.
We need more of this.
That's not happening.
So you notice that there isn't a whole lot of representation for like local news for the music scene. Do you have any ideas for that, like for yourself, or is it just something that you noticed?
I mean, I would love to, you know, make a platform or something to where, you know, we have it like podcasting and everything. So where it's like, we have a schedule of artists coming through and can keep showing the scene and showing what's going on. And then, you know, being able to promote the events and then come out to the events and then recap the events. You know, I feel like we need some, like you said, the news. We just need some sort of documentation that is consistent and that is showing overall the city or the whole Portland scene rather than just certain people. You know, like I will have my camera guy that shows what Makonnen's doing, but it's like we need a camera team that shows what Portland's doing, and it's like, Makonnen, come through. You're a piece of Portland, and then these people are a piece of Portland, so that we can all see, you know, Portland.
They're truly valuable. There's so much value in so many different facets and people and like microcosms in Portland, and I think, you know, I really truly do agree that we need to start shedding more light on that, because Portland, I grew up here. I was going to like warehouse rave parties like when I was like 11 years old, like just right over here, like great, like motherfuckers. some crazy shit. This is some crazy shit. People don't believe me when I say this, but like there was straight up a party that I went to when I was like 11 or 12, where it was a beach party during the winter. They rented out tons and tons of pounds of sand, dumped it on a warehouse floor, brought palm trees, stuck them in the ground, had a whole fucking and that was like
Let's
the
do
Portland
that.
energy. That
Let's
was
do
the
that.
energy of the city. And that's still here. We just got a fucking capsule.
I feel like what we need is the collaborative. We got so many pieces here. It's just that we don't have them all like in one toolbox working on one project. You know what I mean? So it's like we got this huge garage full of all the best tools ever.
Yeah.
But it's like
They're
we just kind of
scattered.
need that, like, yo, let's put these things over here. Then let's put these things. Let's organize everything.
Yep.
Sure.
No, let's bring it all together. You know,
Yeah.
you know, it's a smorgasbord.
And I, honestly, like I feel like I wasn't really around too much before COVID because I was like a little housewife before that. But then I started, like I talked about this in our last interview, kind of popped out. But so I don't really know what it was like beforehand. But what it seems like to me is that like COVID, you know, like we kind of had a, you know, like a system in Portland. Maybe it wasn't doing so great. COVID kind of just like, you know, broke everything down. And now we're starting new again, hopefully to make something better. You know? Yeah.
We're starting new again with a, I feel like we've got a lot of new players and a lot of the OGs kind of have retired or moved. So it's like, you know, it's really at that like ground zero again to where it's like, okay, if we're going to be the news people, we've got to be the news people. If we're going to be the, you know, photographer that just takes the street pictures of everybody and catch them, we'll just do that.
Got to be everywhere.
But I definitely think like, I think all the creators or everybody in Portland has to kind of get under this understanding. Like you guys, we all are playing for ourselves, but you know, together we're playing for Portland. And the more we work together, the more we can get the win for Portland, which will all win for us individually.
I feel like that needs to be like on a shirt or something. Together we're playing for Portland. Like I feel like that's like a, I don't know. I love that. I love that.
Well, what I've heard a lot from artists, I'm not like a, you know, artist myself where I put music out publicly, but what I've heard, like I have music, but you shut up. But anyway, what I've heard is that like people are very supportive, like when you're first coming up, like getting you in, like helping you into the scene. But then there's like a lot of competition, like once you're in it. So, you know, I think it would be important to have more collaboration. There is a lot of that going on, but I think, you know, that's how it's evolved like within the last years. There's more collaboration and more like understanding where even though you're not like, you know, making a song together, you're still like everybody's kind of collaborating.
Yeah. I think the artists got to realize like we're not fighting against each other. We're fighting against different cities.
No, that's the thing is Portland, like people laugh at Portland and that's been the whole general consensus my whole life. Like every other city just is like, who do you got? Like who's on your roster? Who you got? Who's on your team? We got some people. We got a lot of like indie bands, you know. That
I feel like Portland doesn't really care to show what we got. A lot of other cities are very.
That's what it is.
They're very show offy, and Portland is more like, you know, if you know, you know.
Yeah. You got to be.
Portland is kind of Portland's kind of punk rock like that.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Or like
4011.
It's still got that punk rock feel to it, where it's like, you know, it's so cool. Y'all don't even know it's cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we're not trying to post it to tell you how cool it is.
That's right. The funny thing is like
that's our job. That's our job.
Funky balance, because like I think I also grew up out here. Like you go to shows out here in Portland, people talking shit about it a lot, but it's just also just so Portland. You go to a show. And most places in Portland, and people are just like nodding their head, and they won't be moshing, they won't be going crazy. You got to show another major city, people are going crazy and wild. But Portland, I feel like we're just there's a genuine, just like chill, like vibe that's just like we don't want to overstep or we don't want to make too much, like take up too much space or do this and that. And you know, I think that's important because that's our culture, but we also need to be showcasing that specific aspect and these characters, this culture, that's our culture. We can't showcase it if we're just, you know, hiding in our little shells and we're like, I don't want to, you know, some people are, I don't want to be mainstream. I don't want to do that, you know? So.
Yeah. Well, also I've heard a lot of people say that bigger artists skip over Portland. I'm like, why? We're a bigger city in the region, you know? And I think a big part of that is that we don't have a lot of promoters here in Portland who are successful at bringing like bigger artists, bringing guests out to bigger artist shows.
Yeah. Well, Motion Boys is working on that.
Yeah. We got a lot of people working on it right now. You know, I feel like we off to a good run, but it's like, we don't really have that thing to where other people are like, damn, I got to play Portland.
Yeah, that's that.
You know?
And that's what will change that culture. That like having that urge, and it's like we can be the micro. We can be like the.
I feel like what's missing though from that is because of the documentation. So, you know, so like even just say right here at the Thesis tonight, right? And we had a crazy show and everybody was jumping up and down, going crazy. It was like, oh my God. People were like, yo, I want that. I got to go to Portland to get that type of energy.
Show that off.
You know what I mean? I got to get that type of love for me to feel like, you know?
So. Also, the funny thing is too with these shows, because I've seen a lot of people like document shows, but you got to get the right angles too. You got to you got to present it in the right way, because there's a lot of videographers out there, but there's only a couple on some of my homies. Shout out to Cyberdrift, shout out Brain. That like these folks that really capture this like raw energy that I think a lot of people.
If I had the budget, I would hire everybody. Trust me. Like if I had the budget, all the creatives I'd be hiring is just from Portland. Yeah, but the thing is about Portland is like you have so many great artists but these people are really like, it's like they're people, but they're really artists. But at the same time, they're really artists and they're really people. So it's like, yo, I live, I do my job, I do this and do all these other things too. And then I do my art as well. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like Portland is more of like a place where an artist can live.
That's that's always
so like when I go to LA and New York, I know like, oh, I got to turn on a la Makonnen and go in there and do my whole fucking thing. But when I get back to Portland, it's like, oh, I could be Makonnen, and people be like, yo, I love Makonnen. I'm like, yeah, what's up?
I always tell people too, like Portland, there's a lot of eyes in the industry on Portland because there's like no paparazzi out here. You can be like an A-list celebrity, so you can be a huge artist, you can be whatever the fuck you want, and people aren't gonna like swarm you or like crowd you like that. And that's a very unique thing about our culture too.
I like that a lot because I would have been paparazzi'd out if they was doing that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I remember when you came here, and it was like everyone just like, oh, we have a lovely new artist in our city. Let's, it's like,
it was very embracing when I came. Nobody was really sweating me, like trying to, I go to other cities and I get sweated.
Like, do we have consent to be within 5 feet?
Yeah. What's so crazy though sometimes is like, so many people in Portland like would like they know me and know about me, but like they, out of respect kind of wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
So
but you appreciate that.
Yeah. But like I would go into like a bar or something and I could see like a group of people like, oh shit, that was Makonnen. We should. But like he's chilling with his friends. Let's not even bother him.
That's so beautiful. Too.
Yeah.
It's like people. That's like respect. It's not like
and then when somebody does come up, be like, oh, thank you. Like that's cool. I'm glad you like you did it. Like you came and said what's up.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like, are y'all talking about me?
What's that look? I see you looking.
You're like, are you saying something bad?
Steak ass.
Yeah. That's what Boko was just saying too. That, like people just like look at him.
Yeah. Well, you don't know. Well, the thing is like,
are you looking at me because you want to fight me?
You don't know if somebody's looking at you like they're trying to rob you, or they're like they want to come say what's up to you type shit. And that's always a fucking scary thing too, because like someone like you, like people know. Is it like, do you ever feel like when you're in like a city that you don't know, people are looking at you, like, are they looking at me because they know who I am, or are they looking at me because they know who I am and they want something from me? Like, is that like a concern of yours? You feel like people are
sometimes. But I try to always just be like, to let people realize like, yo, I'm like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like literally, like this. I had a dream and wanted to be successful and do my thing, and I pushed for it to make it happen. But it was like I lived more of a regular life than anything else. So like I know what it's like to be looked over and pushed to the side and denied.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like,
I mean, the industry is a fucking gnarly ass fucking place. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize how many, pitfalls there are and how many nasty things can happen to you. And it's like not all glitz and glamour and shit like that. So
I feel like Portland is a place where the misunderstood can get understood.
Truly. Yeah. Truly. Is everyone here kind of like
all the black sheeps all come together and make
birds
art.
of a feather flock together, and also sheep that are black as well do that as well and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I was always the black sheep of not only my family but of my town. So here's the only place I feel like home.
Yeah, man, Portland's fucking lovely, man. We got a lot of good history, and I think we can continue to make that history happen. And it's like special people like Makonnen and Produce, and
you guys,
us on the team. We're trying. We're not
trying. We're not trying. We're doing it.
Exactly, you're doing it.
But we're doing it. We're doing it.
Yeah. So what is one of the best things about kind of like making it, like having songs that were hit songs? Like what was like the best thing? Because you talked about some of like the bad, like the negative things about it. What are some of, like
some of the best things is that people enjoy your art.
Sure.
And so that's always fulfilling as an artist to be able, I definitely, when you share it, you definitely want to hopefully hear somebody says it speaks to them. And so when people do enjoy it and say, have stories about it and stuff, that's always great to,
out of your brain that somebody's like, I love this. That's like that feeling is like, you were just like, I'm just gonna make this thing happen. And they're like, oh, I love this. Like, there's nothing.
It's always good when somebody could appreciate something that you're doing. So, that's always feels good. And that's the part that comes with like the fans.
Yeah.
I feel like the more jaded parts of making it comes with the industry.
Yeah, 100%. Like the real genuine fans, like the people who really care and love you. It's like,
your first original thought of doing is like, oh, I want to make music so it could like help people the way music helped me. It's like once you get that accomplishment, it's like, oh, this is great. But then after that, it's like all this other dark stuff around it. Then where it's like, yo, you guys are trying to take my little good feeling.
Yeah. Trying to take what like makes you feel good about it.
Exactly. To where you stop feeling good about it. To where it's like, I don't want to do it anymore.
So,
that's the beauty, isn't it? It's like you're doing it initially. I hope most people are doing it because they want to connect with people. And I was talking with Boca too earlier, or maybe it was, it was Boca or Dior. And we were talking about how like there's these people that are disenfranchised that people, would these individuals would never ever feel comfortable acting or doing a certain thing in a certain way, and then you're out here on a major platform being like, I am this, like you have to accept me, this is what I'm doing, and then you just bring all these people out of the woodwork that never would have ever felt comfortable in their own shoes, and I think that's what it's all really about, so
but and you were talking about not losing that spark and like losing why you're doing it. Do you feel like that's something that you've always protected, like keeping
I tried to. Yourself. There was definitely years when I was like, just dealing with a lot of industry stuff, dealing with loss of other artists and friends, and it just become overwhelming. But then, you kind of get back. Well, I did. I was like, what was I doing? Why did I do this? Before everybody jumped in my face and said all this shit about me. What was I doing it? And then I was like, oh yeah, that's why. And so then,
back to it.
You definitely have to get back to it. If you, it gets, I found myself trying to please the crowd sometimes, you know what I mean?
I think that should be part of it. I think that's a part of it, right? Like doing what you love, but also like doing what other people love. Yeah.
It's like, oh, my first song or whatever, Tuesday, you guys like that one a lot, right? And then it's like, okay, next year later, now it's like, oh, you guys are listening to this thing. I need to try to do this thing to get you guys and so now you're starting to chase all these things to get people liked.
Oh, they're fucking with this, they're fucking with that.
Oh, shit. And so I got back to like, I don't care what y'all fuck with. I'm gonna do what I fuck with, and I don't care if y'all like it. And lately, they've been liking it.
Fucking with that
shit. It's just been so weird.
Abide the other day, fucking Zagrowski, man. Oh my god, that shit had me. I was like, this is it. This is the fucking anthem. Me and my homie, we were all so fucking stoked. That shit was so fire, But I'm not gonna say anymore. But that shit is.
And that's like what got your song the attention that that it got, is that it came from a place of you just creating something that you wanted to create and something that you loved. So I think getting back to that was probably a great idea.
Yeah,
personally.
Definitely. I mean, as a person and as an artist, it's always a great idea for you personally, but then you have to be a little selfish,
Yes. Yeah.
So,
but
it is important, especially when you become an entertainer, an artist, and get notoriety. Then you start understanding, like, I start becoming selfless to where I have to do this for many others and all this, and and then you start losing yourself, and then to where you start getting hurt.
Yes.
And then it's like, oh man, but everybody around me is telling me if I start protecting my, I'm being an asshole and all that. Yeah. And so then
there's a difference between being nice and being kind. That I think there's a lot of people in the industry that, you experience, like people experience having to be nice for a long time. And then you're like, when you're being kind, you're telling yourself the truth and you're telling other people the truth. You're like, I need space. Being nice is like, oh yeah, like, oh, you can come. Oh, you can come on tour. You can do this. You can do that, blah, blah, blah. That's being nice. Being kind is like, I need this person, I need this person. sorry, like
Yeah.
you can't do that. And that's being kind. Like it's being kind to you and the other person. You don't want someone to lie to you. You
Yeah.
want someone to be
I
dishonest.
think where a main thing is that people gotta understand it's a business. So
Yeah.
it starts out as a love, your hobby, your little thing you want to do, but then after that it starts getting into a business. And so most times, most artists and people are more educated in their art and how to do it and how to make it and make people feel. And then when they get into the business, you know, things start moving really fast and all these people, you know, and you kind of lose track of
It's easy to
what
lose
you're supposed to
yourself,
do.
I feel
Yeah.
like, too, yeah.
And so then you have to reel it in. And at times it'll, you know, take a lot of backtracking. But
some people get lost in it too.
Yeah.
Some people don't make it back. Like some
Yeah.
people, it's good to hear that, you know, you're like, I found myself again,
Right.
you know.
But and I just watched the Black Swan a couple days ago, and it was a very intense version of how it probably is, but how, you know, they kept pushing her, and she ended up being like the best, but she died at the end.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
you have to
that-
like keep yourself,
on
but
that
also
part.
like do your best while also taking care of
Think
yourself.
about all the
Yeah.
goats, man. A lot of the goats, man, died very young. It's like, not just because, you know, not because they were doing illicit
They
substances
pushed
or
too hard,
whatever.
it hurt them. They
They
did
were
a lot of
getting
drugs
pushed.
that hurt them.
They're
Yeah.
getting pushed, they're getting pulled, and that takes a mental toll.
Yep.
You know? So
For sure.
Gee.
So what do you do for self-care to you know, protect yourself and like, you know, keep being yourself? Other than making music that is
resonates with the people.
that you love. Like what do you do to kind of stay being you? Yoga?
No. I paint, I watch TV, you know,
TV? That's self-care right there.
I just try to get back into nature and just deal with life and not really deal with machines and humans and, you know what I mean? I definitely try to take a lot of time to do that because that's very important. So I feel like that
For
is
sure.
my self-care. Going
Yeah.
out to parks, getting nature in,
Yep.
and just seeing the world
For sure.
bigger than you around you. You
Yeah.
know, I'm always trying to like go experience more than myself. You know what I mean? Even though my name is I Love Makonnen and all that, and a lot of people be like, "Oh, you so full of yourself." It was like, that's not where I started my name at. My name came from a place of like having low self-esteem.
Yeah, you gotta be like,
And so wanting to like, you know, build myself up. And then I was like, I wanted to use this as an artist so that other people could put their name there instead of Makonnen and be like, I love whatever your name is type of
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
So like, you know,
I see.
and so I've been having to try to balance Makonnen and I Love Makonnen. So you know, I just try to remember Makonnen,
Yeah.
who was like, oh, you remember you like doing these things and all that. You know, I Love Makonnen.
Yeah.
You got an image or whatever, you know, to upkeep. But it's like, you know, I just definitely try to spend more time with Makonnen and keep I Love Makonnen a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keeping it separate.
It's been hard, but I finally got in 2024 to realize and like separate the two and understand. Because
Yeah.
a lot of times I would think that the notoriety and things that I Love Makonnen can get, that these people really cared about Makonnen. And then Makonnen finds out that they don't.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Makonnen doesn't like being I Love Makonnen.
Yeah.
So then Makonnen and I Love Makonnen had to come to understand. I'm like, yo, we're going to protect Makonnen over here, his personal life, and use I Love Makonnen for his music and his public and his
Sure.
thing like that.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
to
like,
keep
yo,
it
everybody
separate
that
in your
loves I
head
Love
is probably
Makonnen,
very
everybody see me
helpful.
perform now. It's like if I Love Makonnen go perform tonight and everybody's like, yo, come to my house, come to my house.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's
You're
not
like,
going to have the
that's
best interest for
Yeah.
me. You know what I mean?
Know what the fuck you also do?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like Makonnen may have an allergic reaction to something, but everybody's like, yo, I Love Makonnen, have this, have this. You know what I mean?
I gotta pee that out. You know?
Yeah. So, you know.
Relax
Yeah, I
and
feel that.
shit.
All right.
How are we doing on time? Actually,
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I was
wanna
gonna say,
'cause the show's started.
Yeah, let's get to it. But thank you so much for your time. I really
Yeah, thank you
was a
guys.
really good conversation. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
we
yeah,
appreciate it.
I want to keep doing what we're doing because, like you said, the city needs to be seen. Like these wonderful
It's good to
artists
hear
in,
that from
in
you,
Portland.
too,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
hearing that from you
Learn
means a
something.
lot. So, I appreciate what you're doing for the city. We're gonna keep pushing, and we're gonna get Portland
We're
more
gonna
on the
be on
map
the
than it already
scene.
is. We'll be on the scene.
We'll not
This has been
stop being
on the scene with Carissa Dez
I'm Pretty Leon.
and very special guests.
I Love Makonnen.
All right, we out here.
Yeah.
Them diamonds dancing, success in my stride. Niggas talking like they really got the pride. I'm from the streets to the suites, and I got a new vision. Got the Versace vision, got me moving with precision. I can't see no hater, I can't hear no bitch. I'm all about my money, nigga, I'm steady getting rich.